Okay, today we discuss introductions within essays, and let's just ask the general question, what does an introduction for an essay do? Faye, what can an introduction, or what should an introduction do? Okay. Good. More. Brian?
Explain what the body is going to be about.
Abby? Jenna?
It catches the reader's attention and gives important information
Anything else? Nick?
Makes the reader aware of within the first couple of seconds and minutes if he or she wants to continue reading the essay.
Good. So I'm going to throw that up here with grab attention. Helps the reader decide whether or not to read. Good. Brian, give me some added explanation when you say explain what the body will discuss.
It should be a real high-level overview of what you're going to detail more through the rest of the essay.
Still, can you provide an example? I'm still not totally clear. I think I know where you're going, but I want to be sure.
If you're going to talk about the allegory, you could say that Golding uses each of the four boys to represent something different, and then through the essay you can have a paragraph about each boy.
Okay, in the essay you'll have a paragraph about each boy, but what will you do in the introduction? So let's say that you have a 6-paragraph essay. Introduction, 4 paragraphs about the boys, and a conclusion. So what will you do in the introduction with this explanation? Will you list the topics of all 4 of the developing paragraphs in this way? Will you say, in this paper, well, let me rephrase, this paper will discuss how Ralph represents democracy, how Jack represents aggression, and so on? Okay. Then I'm not quite sure what you're going for with explain. And here, let me help out a little bit more. Because Christy says you've got to present the thesis statement. How are you saying something different from that? The thesis statement tells me what I'm going to talk about, right? Because in Nicket's paper, I know I'm going to learn about how Jack is the most important boy. And that one sentence tells me I'm going to read about how Jack's most important because he provides for the boys to live. What other explanation do I need?
If your thesis statement says that Golding is using them allegorically, then you could expand on that and say that they each represented a part of humanity. You'd have to say something general to all of them that could still be expanded on in the paragraph.
I think you're getting to something that we call road mapping. And by road mapping, I mean you give an indication in your intro paragraph about each of your supporting points. So you tell me in your intro what each supporting point will be. Let me use Nicket's as an example. Let's say, Nicket, read your claim for us again.
In the book Lord of the Flies, Jack is the most important character because without him all the boys would be dead.
Jack is the most important character because without him all the other boys would be dead. Let me rephrase a little bit. Jack is the most important character because he provides for the health and welfare of the boys. Next sentence. Brian, see if this is what you're talking about. he provides for the health and welfare of the boys in 3 ways. First, he provides for their food, their sustenance. Second, he provides for protection. Third, he provides for group unity. Is that kind of what you're talking about?
That seems too list-like.
Aha. See, this is my problem with road mapping. I'm going to deviate off this subject so we can just sort of settle it. Some people say that you need a road map in an intro. And a road map is where you give an indication of your supporting points in the introduction. So it's kind of like what you're talking about, explaining what the body will discuss. Giving you an indication. I'm going to talk about this, this, and this. And then this, this, and this are your 3 paragraphs, right? It's kind of like saying, here's what the structure of the paper is. This is what we call road mapping, and I hate it. For the exact reason that you're rejecting it right now. It's too list-like. It seems too structural. It seems almost like instructions to understand the essay. It's not writing, it's not communicating or speaking anymore. Now it's just listing. I don't like road mapping. What I like is ending with your thesis statement. The thesis statement occurs, and it occurs at the end. It occurs at the end of your intro paragraph. Final statement is your thesis statement. That should be enough to explain what you're talking about. Don't tell me what you're going to talk about. Just talk about it. Okay? So I'm going to X this as being not only unnecessary, but not the best move. So don't do that. Which up here might be optional. You can do it. You don't have to do it. One or the other. Yeah. I'm going to throw grab attention on there as optional. You don't have to do that. I'm going to take out introduce to the topic and say that's basically the same thing as presenting the thesis statement, because that introduces you to the topic.
I was going to ask, with grabbing attention,
Mm-hmm.
as taught, like, in grade, one of the things you can do is start with a question.
Yes?
And I wasn't sure if that's something that you...
Not for this type of essay, but here's what you're going to find out, Jenna, that there are different audiences and different essays and different purposes, and for some that will work just fine, and for some that will not work just fine. For the Lord of the Flies essay, it's not going to work. Where would you want to write a strong attention grabber in an essay? In what walk of life would you want to write an essay with a really strong attention grabber?
Maybe not persuasive.
Okay, persuasive, and where do you think that would appear, that persuasive essay? Where would it be published, where would it be presented, where would people pick it up to read it?
Like in a newspaper or some kind of like...
Newspaper or magazine. Where the casual reader doesn't have to read your essay, you must make them want to read your essay. That's why you need an attention grabber, right? We're dealing with something else today. So that's why I'm saying that an attention grabber is optional. Your question about the rhetorical question, can you use a question? Yes, it's one of your attention grabbing techniques. You can use that. See, and now that's recorded too. I know. For the record, that was Abby sneezing. Nick?
So we don't need a book?
Not in this type of essay. That's why I'm saying it's optional. You can use it in some. You shouldn't use it in others. What else on this screen is absolutely necessary for any one of these essays? Why, Nickette? Why is provide background information absolutely necessary?
They need to know like, what you're writing about.
What are you writing about, Nickette?
Lord of the Flies.
And if I've never read Lord of the Flies before, what do I need to know?
A summary.
Very good. How long do you think that summary is going to last, Nickette? Welcome to the introduction to the literary analysis essay, and this is where I readdress what Jenna has asked. Jenna's asked about attention-grabbing devices and questions. Certainly, in certain types of essays, absolutely, but we're not writing that today. What we're writing today is the literary analysis essay. This is a piece of academic writing. Who is most likely to read this piece of writing? Me, a teacher, another student, somebody who is studying literature. In other words, somebody who wants to read this or is being forced to read it. You don't need the attention-grabbing device here. We'll talk later in this year a little bit about attention-grabbing devices, but we're going to focus on more basic strategies with introductions right now. Senior year,